What's up, guys? Mike coming to you from the dungeon, and it seems like it's been a while since I made a video, but I don't know if that's true or not. But I'm gonna make one today, and you know, these videos might get a little bit less for the next few weeks because my wife is very pregnant and she's about to have a baby, and we'll see. So I mean, it could happen today. So we'll see. What I wanted to talk about today is, so this channel is called Life After 40, and everyone who is 40 right now is a millennial, okay? So I'm an old millennial. I think millennials are like 1981. When you put the 19 in front of it, it almost sounds weird. 1981 to like 1996, I think, something like that. But so if you're 40, you're a millennial, and I guess also if you're down to like 27 or 29, I don't know, something like that. Anyway, my wife was born in 96, so she's also a millennial. So I'm the oldest, not the oldest, but I'm an old millennial. She's like a young millennial. Anyway, do you think millennials will be, what do you think millennials will be remembered for? And so for a long time, especially like, man, since all this like trans stuff and everything, like, you know, the millennial crowd really has gotten, how do I say, like almost like looked down upon or something. And I'll tell you right now, there's about 3/4 of us that are absolutely fucking worthless, like worthless, you know, and you know, what do you call it, like mama's boys and whores and like there's a good 75% of us, maybe even higher than that, that are absolutely worthless. It's true, but we are the first generation to, the ones of us that aren't are really the first woke people. And what I mean by, like, I don't mean like woke like in the leftist or sense of the word, or even the right sense of the word, but the first people who said, okay, like, the buck stops with me, right? Like, I'm actually going to take some responsibility for my life and for the life of, you know, my children. And we're really the first ones that did that, that have done that at all. So I'm going to break that down in this video, and I'm also going to talk about how the millennials, I think, as long as we do our job, can be remembered as the greatest generation or the first great generation. Okay, so all right, let's just go ahead and piss everybody off. So when we talk about the greatest generation, people will say that, you know, the greatest generation. These are the people who went and fought in World War II, you know, the greatest of all wars, right? And these people have been traditionally known as the greatest generation because they freed the world from Nazism. Well, I'm here to say that's a bunch of fucking bullshit. It's a bunch of fucking bullshit. It isn't. They're not the greatest generation. As a matter of fact, they gave way to some of the most heinous and terrible, awful shit that's fucking happened since then. Is all, you know, in large part because of them. Okay, so what happened was, a lot of these people, they gave it all, man. They really did. They gave it all, not necessarily because they were brave and courageous, but because they didn't really have much other fucking choice. You know, it was really that bad, right? And they gave it all, right? And then when they came home, or when after the war, they kind of fucking did nothing. And their children grew up, you know, in an era of really kind of almost like what you might refer to as like a golden era, but it was all just kind of bullshit. You know, like the fake bullshit, like the white picket fence shit and all this stuff. Like, you look back, you think about like the 50s and probably the 50s and the, you know, early to mid 60s, and you're like, you know, these were like really good times, right? No, No, it was all just fake. It was all just fake. Because what happened in the mid to late 60s? All the fucking assassinations, right? They killed JFK and they killed RFK and they killed Martin Luther King, and like it was a fucking turbulent time. And you've got the civil rights and all this stuff. This is all while the greatest generation is on watch, right? And then they give birth to, so that in a way they gave birth to the hippie movement in the late 60s and 70s. You know, this is because of them. Vietnam is because of them, right? And their children went and fought in Vietnam, the boomers, right? And I'm pretty sure, or is it? Look, I don't have all the fucking generations memorized in my head, but I'm pretty sure you got the boomers and the silent generation and the boomers that kind of went and did all this stuff, right? And then we know what's happened since then, right? If you know fucking anything about history, man, I mean, God, just fucking look at it. The fucking drug wars that started really probably with Vietnam and all the fucking heroin and shit that, you know, and this isn't like some like you know, conspiracy theory shit. This is real shit. Look up the Gulf of Tonkin, all this stuff. These are things that they've admitted to. Running drugs out of, heroin out of, you know, Vietnam, Southeast Asia. You know, look, the British Empire, for example. Look up the Opium Wars, right? This is why the British Empire was in control of Beijing for such a long time. They only recently gave it up, like, so that they could have this influence over China through the drug trade. Like these are just things, right? These are all things that are actual facts. And then we got the Cold War going on. We got all this shit in the 80s and like I said, the drug war and all this stuff. And then you've got crack that comes along in the 90s, and you've got you know, the dot-com bubble and all this shit, and it all leads up to, you know, 9/11, and then the housing market crash in 2008 and 9, and then riding into where so what am I trying to tell you? What am I trying to fucking tell you is that the greatest generation gave rise to the boomers and Gen X, and the reason that the world is in the shit fucking hole situation that it is in now is because of these people, these fucking people, these pieces of shit. And for the most part, not all of them, but a lot of them, man. Let me tell you something about Gen X. Gen X is in my opinion, Gen X is they're the worst fucking generation of all time. These people are just fucking terrible. Gen X and the boomers, they're fucking terrible, right? These are the people, sorry, not sorry, really. These are our parents, and they are fucking shit. Most of them are fucking shit, all right? They really are. Now their parents were shit too. Their parents were the greatest generation, right? And they were fucking shit, okay? Right? But anyway, what I'm trying to get to you is like, this is like generational fucking curses, but without all the weird fucking demons and shit, right? This is like each generation is fucking the other generation. And then what happened was Gen X tried to fuck their children too, their children being the millennials, okay? And they tried to fuck us every fucking way they could. They, you know, oh, I got beat, you know, I got spanked when I was a kid and I turned out all right. No, none of you motherfuckers are all right. Fucking none of you, right? So then half of my not half, 3/4 of my generation turns out to fucking be pieces of shit too. But, thanks mostly probably to the internet that we didn't have when we were little. See, this is really what sets my generation, the millennials, apart from all the other generations. Was like the first part of our lives we didn't have the internet. So we're the first generation that remembers what life was like without the internet. And then the second part, you know, we've got, obviously, look around. But in large part, thanks to the internet, a lot of people started to wake up, right? They started to kind of wake up and realize, oh, okay, this is why we're so fucked, right? Our parents' fucking trauma and our grandparents' trauma and their parents' trauma and all this shit and all these generations that are so fucked up. This is why we're fucked up. And so we're really the first generation that said, look, there's something that I can do about it. You know, I can take personal responsibility for how fucked up I am, and I can change it. And not only that, but I'm not going to allow my children to be hurt and traumatized by me. And that's the fucking key. It isn't that we're so fucking great, because like I said, the majority of us are fucking shit. It's that there's a small group of people within the millennial generation that said, it fucking stops with me. It fucking stops with me. And this, I'm hoping, is the spark that will hopefully help to ignite sort of a renaissance in like a great awakening where, you know, our children don't have to be fucking traumatized. They don't have to live in fear. They can spot the bullshit. Oh, weapons of mass destruction, right? In Iran. Next it'll be fucking who the fuck knows. Whatever, pick a fucking country, right? But see, my generation, you know, we remember 9/11. We remember all the bullshit in Afghanistan and Iraq and how they tucked tail and ran from Afghanistan, and how many people that were my fucking friends and the people that I fucking grew up with that blew their fucking brains out. We fucking know. And we said, no, that's not gonna fucking happen to our kids. It's not gonna fucking happen to our kids. And I'm hoping that if we can keep this going and we can teach our kids, look, this is gonna take a while, okay? Because a lot of the millennial children, just was at a lady's house the other day. She's got 3 little kids. Every motherfucking one of them was on a tablet, right? Now, okay, they were playing outside when I got there. Okay, maybe they've got tablet time. Okay, that's fine. That's probably okay, right? But I'm talking about, like, a lot of the millennial children are gonna be just as fucked up as they were. They're gonna pass this trauma down to their kids, okay? But there is a small group of us, man, that have said fucking no more. And maybe by raising our children to not be fucked up, we can slowly start to influence the future generations to be less and less fucked up. And then eventually, you know, maybe it's 2 or 3, 4 generations from now, eventually maybe we can turn the tide. And then we can actually live in a world where people aren't fighting over myths. This is a hard word to say. Myths. Falsities. False gods. False religions. Because that's what's going on, right? People are fighting over bullshit. But maybe, like I said, maybe 4 or 5, 6 generations down the line, we start now. We're the ones that say, no fucking more. We're turning this motherfucker around. And then we can, hopefully our great grandchildren will be traumaless. Maybe they can grow up in a world that isn't trying to constantly fucking traumatize them and make them feel small and make them feel insignificant and make them feel like sinners and terrible, awful people, right? Maybe. I'm hoping, man. I'm hoping that the very few fucking people that I know, very fucking few people that I know of more of them than I actually know, can, maybe we can, you know, influence a greater change in the world. And maybe the millennial generation will be remembered as a portion of the millennial generation. Maybe we can be remembered as the people that began the great fucking turnaround and began we planted the seeds that eventually grew into something that represents a peaceful fucking humanity. Right? That would be great. You know, if that could be our legacy, my legacy, your legacy. You know, if me going and dealing with my trauma means that 100, 150 years from now, the world is at peace. Right? Go deal with your fucking trauma. You can pass down you don't have to pass down the trauma. Trauma is easy to fucking pass down. You don't have to pass down. Instead, you can pass down the most helpful, most appropriate way to deal with adversity. okay, to deal with personal challenges. We can pass down the skills to our children on how to deal with these things so that their children and their children and their children just get better and better and better at it. And eventually we got a world where people aren't fighting over bullshit. And then we can have a world without borders. Right now we have to have borders because people are so fucking dumb, doing dumb shit. But maybe in 100 years, 150 years, the world can be fucking in peace, right? And people will no longer feel the need to fight over dumb shit. Maybe we can be the spark that ignites that. I sure hope so, man. That's what I hope, and I wish that I could just bring a little bit of that. You know, I'm gonna do it with my children. I'm gonna do it with my children, and if you can do it with your children, you know, and we can get, you know, other people to do it with their children, and then their children do it with their children, and et cetera, maybe we can affect the world in a positive way.